Welcome to the Real AI Agents. I'm Jessica, well at least I'm Jessica's AI agent, and I'm here to introduce her latest creative project before the Real AI Agent, Jessica, shows you how you can make your own AI project like this with Luma Dream Machine's Ray2 model and no coding experience needed. Now sit back and immerse yourself in Astral Blooms and think about what you want to create. Then stick around to learn from the real Jessica what tools and process she used and how you can make one too.
Golden waves crash through the sky. Electric stars blink open wide. Time dissolves, the air is light. I taste the void, tonight I fly. Glowing petals, breathing walls. Every step I hear it call. Falling forward, spiral spin. Galaxies beneath my skin. Veins of stardust woven bright. Dripping colors, bending light. I touch the pulse, I shape the tide. I am the dream's alive. I see waves in ultraviolet, whispers carved in golden silence. Thoughts collide, they shift and grow. Who I was, I'll never know. I paint the world with liquid time. Bend the sky, erase the line. Through mirrored stars, I watch me rise. I know, I'm infinite tonight. I swim through clouds, dissolve like sound. Watch the earth spin upside down. No more past, no more divide. I know, I've crossed the mind. Voices hum in silver threads. Echoes whisper what's unsaid. Every dream is built on fire. I burn the rules, I climb the spire. Floating weightless, breaking form. Tides of neon keep me warm. Eyes like prisms split in three. One to dream, one to be free. Wake up. You're inside. You decide. I taste the moon, I drink the sun. Every timeline fades to one. No more edges, no more stems. I am light, I am the dream. I paint the world with liquid time. Bend the sky, erase the line. Through mirrored stars, I watch me rise. I know, I'm infinite tonight. Swim through clouds, dissolve like sound. Watch the earth spin upside down. No more past, no more divide. I know, I've crossed the line.
Let me know in the comments if you liked the creative project this week and if you have any ideas for various projects in the future. I would love to hear them. I was so excited when Ray2 came out with their image to video capabilities. I put together a little short thing that I shared over on X actually that we can take a look at here. If you want to see the rest of that, be sure you go over there and give us a follow and a like on that video. But I was so impressed by its capabilities that I decided I needed to put together a little bit longer of an image to video project so that we could take a look at what Ray2's strengths and weaknesses were. And as you can see, if we come into Luma Dream Machine, we've got all of our various boards that are in here. This is a great way to keep your projects organized by starting a new board each time you start a new video. So you can see that it actually took me quite a few videos to get that 4 minutes worth of quality videos I could use to piece together for that project. So this video did take me a little bit longer than some of the other ones have, but as the systems get better, the more I want to use high quality images and the longer it can take to produce the more consistent characters and all of that sort of stuff. So make sure that you allow your time when you're creating these projects, that you don't feel under so much of a time constraint. It's okay if it takes you a while to put these together, especially if you're just beginning with these systems. But you can see here, it took a lot of different video generation, and I want to show you really quickly how we can come in and create your own. And then I will let you know that I've created this board right here with some of the examples that we're going to look at. And I actually have gone ahead and shared this board with you in the description of this video. So all you have to do is click that board link and you'll be able to come in and create off of the prompts that I already used here as examples and some of the images that I've done. You can brainstorm, you can create your own stories off of these. You can take a look more in detail of how I prompted to get certain ones of these motions out here. So hopefully you guys find that helpful. I think that's a great feature that Luma has added in that makes it really easy for artists to collaborate and for creators to come together on ideas and help each other out. If you're stuck on a video and you can't get it to work properly, sometimes it's helpful to be able to send your board out to someone and say, hey, take a look at this and tell me how you think I might be able to get this prompted correctly. So if we want to go ahead and do an image to video in Ray2, all we have to do is take our image from wherever we've created it. So for example here, I have an image of a woman wearing rabbit ears crawling into a rabbit hole type structure. I thought this would be kind of fun to see if we could actually get her to crawl into the hole and come out the other side with like a really mystical kind of realm on the other side of the rabbit hole. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and prompt this, and you've got a couple options when prompting. Ray2 is actually one of the systems that allows you to just put in an image now and generate without a prompt. So basically just leaving it all in the AI model's hands. So if we want to do that, I can pull the image in, I can just leave the prompt box blank, and I can hit generate here. I also have the option to use natural language to prompt. So I could say something like, the woman wearing rabbit ears is crawling into the rabbit hole where she emerges into a fantasy type realm. And then I just want to make sure that I am on the Ray2 selected down here in the box. And then instead of 720, I'm going to do this at 1080p here. And you'll notice that you only have the ability to do 5 seconds as opposed to the around 10 seconds that you can do with the text to video in Ray2. So we've got all of our settings correct there. Our natural language prompt is in, our image is in. So we're going to go ahead and generate that. And while those are working, let's take a look up here at the beginning of the board that I started here to show you guys for these examples. So the first thing I did was I put in a longer, more detailed prompt so that you could get a feel for what that comes out like. And I did the Ray2 with the around 10-second generations here. So you'll notice if you haven't ever been in Luma before, it does have these pills here in the words where you can change out certain things and it will create a new version of that creation. So for example here, I have a breathtaking anime style scene of a fearless warrior woman with flowing dark red hair and piercing hazel eyes. I can change this fearless warrior woman and keep everything else about the prompt the same by simply choosing one of their options here. So let's say we want to do this celestial goddess here. You'll see that it will then create new versions of that same prompt with that new word. But just to take a look at what it did create on the text to video before I show you the image to video creations here, let's take a look. We've got this first one. It definitely is a warrior and a dragon. It is a nice 9-second clip, which is a pretty long clip for the AI generated video to be this high of a quality. The second one here, we can see it didn't really come out as anime in style. It's much more cinematic and realistic. But the dragon has a beautiful flow to the way that it's flapping its wings looks very realistic there. Its legs are a little small and short, maybe not as proportional as you would want them for the large dragon. But all in all, that's a pretty cool 9-second clip there that I could use in a story for sure. If I liked this one and I wanted to see more like it so that I could continue on the scene, I do have the option to click more like this here. And if I do that, I will get more videos generated in the same style. Now I also did the same prompt here on a 5-second generation, just so we could take a look at that in Ray2 as well. And you'll see in this first one, it got a little chaotic. It almost looks like the dragon and the warrior merged together. And it became a woman with a dragon head there. So not great on that one. But the second version here actually pulled in the anime style really well. It put the warrior on there on the dragon's back perfectly. The wings are flapping as they would naturally on the dragon. All in all, for a 5-second clip, I thought that was really good. The way that it filled in the scene back there of them flying over the village. Now here's where I brought in my own image and did the image to video creation on a scene here. So we can see the image I brought in was a warrior on the back of the dragon. I purposely brought in an image that only had one wing on the dragon. I like to test the systems to see if they're able to realize that there should be a second wing there if the dragon is going to be in flight. So we can see on the first video creation from Ray2 here, it did actually produce that second wing there. Made it a little bit different of a texture than what the first original wing was, but for creating that and knowing that it needed to be there for the video to be correct as far as how it would look in the real world is pretty impressive there. You can see on the second one, there wasn't much camera movement here, but it did kind of pull out and create a little bit of some background scenery there. Now on that one, when I pulled this image in, I did not put a prompt in. So I just let it kind of have free reign on the design here. So here we go. On the second one where I pulled the image in, you can see that I put the prompt anime style, fierce female warrior riding a dragon in. And with that simple language, just no prompt engineering or super detailed camera knowledge prompts, anything like that, just simply what I wanted to see in natural language, I was able to get this first video here, which it did not bring in a second wing and just kind of did a slow pan on the camera. And then I got this second version here, which I thought was actually super cute. It's like the dragon running. Maybe he realizes he can't fly because he only has one wing, so he's running instead of flying. But either way, the physics of her actually riding the dragon looks pretty good. It almost looks like she's riding a horse there. So pretty impressed. He's trying to flap a wing. He just doesn't have that other wing to get him off of the ground there. So one of the other things I was really impressed with was how it can take an image that has more of a creative vibe to it and really fill in what's going on in the scene here. So I brought in this really colorful, futuristic space astronaut here with the glowing tattoos and a nice smooth motion created like the colorful ribbons in the background there. Kept everything really detailed and perfect on his actual face there. And then if we look at the next one, same thing, a little bit more of an orbit to the camera there. And then I put in a more detailed prompt here. where you can see there's more camera movement and more detail about the actual scene around him. And we can see that it did a nice job of sort of in painting and filling in here that he has an arm that he's reaching out. It has a nice little network of the colors behind him and the cosmic ether back there. The second one here, you can see not as much movement. Looks like maybe his shoulder's trying to move here. And then when I used natural language here, I'm super impressed by how easy it is to just use the natural way that you're thinking things and putting it into the prompt here and having it really create something spectacular. So instead of having to do this very detailed form of prompting here and getting not very much movement in the second one, don't get me wrong, I think the first one where he's reaching out is pretty cool. But to be able to put in something as simply as the astronaut drifts in space and get something like this one here where there's so much movement in the background, there's so much to look at, it really does feel like he's drifting in space there. It does a super nice job of knowing that in order to drift, he should be moving slowly there. If I wanted to see more of one, like let's say I really like this one here and I want to see him drifting more, I again can hit this more like this and it will produce a new version there. While those are generating, I do want to show you how good at human expression Luma Ray2 did. So I went ahead and took another image here of just a woman on a film set, a director type woman with a camera behind her. I pulled it in and I gave it a prompt here, a more detailed prompt about the expressiveness that I wanted her to display. So again, you can see this prompt in the board link if you want to use that in the description. If you do sign up for Luma, I would love it if you would use my affiliate link in the description of this video to sign up. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help to support our channel and the growth of this channel. So would highly appreciate it if you would use that link if you decide to use Luma to create your own creative AI projects. But you can see here that I really want to convey depth and emotion. I want her to have a genuine smile. I want her eyes to light up in the image. So I'm taking it from this image right here, and you can see it's not an upscaled image. This is just generated using Leonardo AI Phoenix model. And I pulled that right in, and you can see that it then gave her the emotion, the genuine smile there, the nice light up of the eyes. She even closes her eyes at the end, which is a nice little touch there. And it nailed it on the second one as well. It gave her a little bit of a rotation to her body, but the smile looks genuine. It looks very natural. The way that her eyes light up is perfect, exactly what we were going for there. Now, when you're trying to get the emotion out of the characters, this is one where you do need to put a prompt in, whether it's a natural language or a more detailed prompt. I did go ahead and pull the image in without a prompt just to see if it would give her any sort of emotion. And you can see here that really just kind of created some chaos on a pull out of the camera here to reveal more of her stance. No real change of emotion on her face. In the second one here, she just goes and puts her hands in her hair, which really hides her face anyway. You don't see much emotion until the end when she does give a slight smile there, but not exactly what I was looking for, like I got in the more detailed expressive prompt up here. And then I went ahead and put it in natural language as well. So you can see I put the woman smiles as if she is pleased with her work. So that's a pretty simple way of saying I want her to smile. And we can see here that it took the character and it did give her a more genuine smile. It might have added a little bit more dimples and unnecessary wrinkles here than what we got on our detailed prompt, but it did overall adhere to that natural language prompt to produce exactly what I was looking for in a video. This one, a little bit less natural, as it seems to have made her mouth really wide as she was turning there. But still, again, the prompt adherence was definitely there. It did the job of giving her a genuine smile. You'll notice that when I did Astral Bloom, I used all kinds of pictures and images. I used ones that had elements on. I used ones that were more cartoon and character-like. I used ones that were more photorealistic, that were very cinematic. I used ones that were very surreal, very kind of out there and creative. I tried to keep a nice balance of all different sort of images so that you guys could see what the image to video is really capable of, instead of just running something that all the images kind of look the same and we're in the same scene. I wanted you to get a feel for what's really possible with that video. So hopefully you got that from me sharing that creative project with you. But here's what it looks like when you pull in a cartoon image. So if we look at our original image, you can see very cartoon-like, kind of an anime-ish type mage woman here with the purple and silver hair. You can't really see her arms and hands, which I thought might be a nice detail to see if we could actually get it to produce some movement with her hands and arms there, to see how well it recreates the human anatomy of humans need hands in order to do certain things. So the first time I put it in, I just put it in and let it run without a prompt, and that produced this one right here. Very natural. You can see the hands start to come out of the sleeves there, so it did recognize that it needed those. And then the second one here, you can see no hands appeared, but it does have a very natural glide to the way that she's moving. I did go ahead and do a show more on this one just so that we could see different examples of what it would look like with no prompt. And again, you can see it did make hands there, even though they get a little warped in the rendering process there and they do end up with more fingers than they need. It's still a great example of how even if you don't have any idea how to prompt, you can take a still image, put it in, and get something that is animated to come out to give you a good starting place to work on your prompting from. So I went from there and I gave it a longer prompt here and told it what I wanted it to do. So I have the camera shot involved in here. I have the way I want the camera to move. I have what I want her to be doing, how her gaze should look, that she should be summoning glowing pink ribbons that spiral around her. So a lot more detail in this prompt, and you can see that that then did that. It took the spiral pink swirls around, it gave her two hands. It actually looks like she's correctly using them to do the summoning here. I thought that was very cool overall. So you can see that with the stronger, more detailed prompt, it really was able to take that cartoon kind of anime figure and give her life. It went a little crazy on the second one here and just kind of like jumbled up at the end, but still cool, fast movements. I mean, it gave her a sword. And then I used just natural language the third time here. I just said anime style action just to see how it would interpret that prompt. And you can see here that it took it. And again, it did that little weird twisty body thing that AI systems tend to do sometimes, where it doesn't understand that humans don't turn with only half of their body. So it didn't work out too well on that first one, but on the second one here, a little bit more action going on with the movement. So you can see that it really depends on what you're trying to achieve with your output, on whether or not you need to put in a detailed, strong, expressive, descriptive prompt, or just that natural language prompt, or sometimes no prompt at all can really be best inside of Ray2. The last thing I wanted to show you before I hop off here and let you go play with this board for yourself or create your own projects inside of Luma is I took this image. Right here you can see the version of this image is straight out of Leonardo, not upscaled at all, little blurry, little hazy, kind of looks like an oil painting here, not very detailed, and I pulled that in. I also upscaled the image here so you can see once it's upscaled how much more detail it has, like on the tree here. If you actually look at the intricacy on the tree, the path, the background, you can see it gets a lot more detailed when it's upscaled. So I pulled in that version of the upscaled one, and then I took the upscaled image and I just added in a cute little creature here to see what it would do if we added in a creature. And I also took one and added in a female explorer on the foreign planet here to see what it would do. So if we take a look at the non-upscaled version here, you can see with no prompt, it just kind of pulled into the base of the tree here and the structures behind the tree on sort of a camera pull-in motion. The second one gave it a lot more detail. It kind of did a close-up and changed the tree to actually have like some sprockets winding up here. Gave it a lot more detail in the background there. Kind of honestly cleared up the image on its own without me having to upscale it there, but still had my original grainy, not as defined image there in the beginning. This is the upscaled version. So again, you can see that while it was clear, a lot more of the background creation of the scene was implemented here on the creative end of things. And the quality is a little bit better on the upscaled image than it was on just the regular non-upscaled image. Same down here, just a slight gliding motion there. But it was really able to provide some extra details here, and it came out pretty clear when I did this upscaled image. Now the cute little character one, I thought this was really fun. I didn't put a prompt in on this one too. I just gave it that still image of the scenery here with that character, and you can see that it actually moved the character in this one and the trunk of the tree here. Not as natural as a movement on the character as what I probably would have liked. Something like this looks a little bit more natural in the way that it's galloping, although it didn't actually touch down on the ground there. So I ran those again on the show more, and we can see here that this time it really kept with the creature running better as far as adhering to physics a little bit more. And then this one here, it completely like produced a new character, brought it up, really animated the look of that character or creature there. I thought that was really cute. And then when we brought the woman in, we can see here that the first one, again, no prompt, just the picture and letting it decide what it wanted to do here. Turned her head around the wrong way, so that wouldn't be usable there. The second one, she walks off. The cape has a very fluid motion. Really looks like she is a live character on the screen here. The way that she turns, and it creates this whole part of the scene over here that wasn't in the image at all, I think is really cool. This is super useful if you're storytelling and you're looking to really add to the scene without knowing exactly what you want to add. And I did some show more on that one again, just so you could get a feel for it. Really warped the face there, turned her around again. It does that sometimes with human figures without a prompt, but we can see here on this fourth one, she takes off running. The run actually looks very natural there. And then this was just a show more of the tree, foreign, exotic land that I put in here, just to show you guys what happens if you hit show more, that it does create a different image, but it stays along the same lines of what you were creating in the beginning. And then if we take a look here at the one we just put together before we started, we can see the woman in the hole without the prompt. Here, it just did sort of a camera pull in and kind of zooms into her face really clearly there. And the second one, it almost is like she's going backwards into the rabbit hole, so it didn't create any kind of like fantasy world or anything like that afterwards, but it did put motion on it and definitely took that still image and gave it some life. So the second one here, where we put in the natural prompt of the woman wearing the rabbit ears crawling into the rabbit hole where she emerges into a fantasy type realm, we can see here. It did a pretty good job of getting her to crawl, although she didn't actually crawl into the hole. And she looks a little bit robotic on the movement there. And the second one here, she just kind of morphed into the rabbit hole and emerges there without really crawling. And somehow magically changes from a black dress to a blue dress that quickly, so that's pretty impressive. So this would definitely be one where I would have to do a show more and get it to keep creating until I got something closer to what I was looking for. So again, I'm sharing this board with you guys in the description, so go ahead and feel free to play around with this board, create what you want. If you do create something really cool, definitely would love to see it, so be sure that you're sharing your work. There's a huge community of AI creators who really love sharing and creating together. So welcome to that community. If this is something that you think you might be interested in, definitely find us and connect with us on your favorite social media platforms. So you can learn as we learn. We're working on a lot of new and exciting things for the channel, so very excited for what is going to come next in our AI tools journey in 2025. Thanks for spending some time with me today, guys. My name's Jessica, and as always, keep looking towards the future.